Good morning. Welcome to our Sunday service, Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta, February 21st. Our speaker this morning is Reverend Don Cameron. His sermon is titled, Judgmentalism is a Spiritual Issue. David?
Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful Sunday out there, and I'm certainly glad that you were joining us, and I hope to see you all in person soon. Our opening hymn is hymn number 354, We Laugh, We Cry, and we are led by our own Jerry Goldman, and we're going to be singing verses 1 to 4, so please feel free to join along at home.
We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found the need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe that sharing is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found the joy being together. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
Thank you, David. Our announcements this morning will be given by our board member, Tim Hunter. Tim?
Good morning. I'm Tim Hunter. I'm a member of the board here at UUCA. Before I get started, I just want to say that that was beautiful singing by Jerry. That hymn is one of my favorites. And hearing Jerry sing is one of my favorite things to do. So that was a combination of two of my favorite things. And that hymn reminded me of how much I miss being together in the church. And I can't wait till we can all get together again in the sanctuary. So here are the announcements for today. Coffee with the Minister for visitors will be conducted via Zoom following the service. There will be a Zoom link in the chat at the end of this service so you can use to access this informal discussion. The Humanist Free Thought Group will meet today online at 5 p.m. Contact Frank Carl for information. The UU Monday Meditation Group will meet online and face-to-face in the sanctuary in a hybrid meeting tomorrow evening, Monday, February 22nd from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Contact Elizabeth McNabb or Melanie Roberts for information. Individuals who are interested in meeting in person in the church on Monday nights should get in contact with Chris Garcia and let him know as soon as possible, preferably by Sunday, which is today. A reminder that a 14-person limit in the sanctuary is enforced and the face covering is mandatory for entry into the church building. The Wednesday evening exploration group will meet 7 p.m. via Zoom. We're discussing Grandma Gatewood's Walk, the inspiring story of a woman who saved the Appalachian Trail by Benny Montgomery. Contact Jan Parsons for the link. The Portable Book Club will be meeting Thursday, February 25th, online at 7 p.m. to discuss Reckless by Selena Montgomery, also known as Stacey Abrams, led by Jan Parsons. Contact Liz Goodson for information. The parent group will meet today at 12:15 after today's service. The Zoom link, meeting ID, and passcode are in your e-announcements. Saturday, February 27th, there will be a play date for the elementary age kids and parents for some outdoor time at the church playground. Weather predictions are currently to be dry and temperatures in the 50s. Prepackaged snacks will be provided, as well as vegan cupcakes, apparently. The Social Justice Committee will meet next Sunday, February 28th at 1 p.m. online. You can contact me for more information. Fourth Sunday Vespers will also take place next Sunday, February 28th at 7 p.m. as a hybrid service, both in the sanctuary and online. Contact Jezebel or not for more information. Please check this week's e-announcements for contact information for these groups and others you may wish to register for. There is also a link in the UUCA calendar that will let you know what is going on at the church during this week and the month. A reminder that the deadline for the March newsletter is tomorrow, February 22nd. The church remains in phase 3 of its reopening guidelines, which are posted on the Facebook page, allowing groups of less than 15 to meet in church in appropriate rooms under our reopening guidelines. Please let your board liaison and the church administrator know if you wish to meet at the church. It is not too late to get immunized against the seasonal flu. It is your best defense to prevent getting the flu for those ages 6 months and older. Free COVID-19 immunizations with the Moderna vaccine continue to be offered by the East Central Public Health District for Georgia in groups 1A for residents that are 65 years or older or healthcare professionals. Information on how to register online or the phone number to call is in your e-announcements. Whether you're immunized or not, continue to perform hand hygiene, wearing a face covering when outside your home, socially distance, and stay at home when sick. These measures help prevent flu and coronavirus infection. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Our chalice lighting words this morning are from the Sufi mystic poem Rumi. This human being is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness succumbs as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Our joys and sorrows this morning will be from our member of our pastoral guest team, Marika Bhattacharya.
Thank you, Chris. Now is the time in our service when we are invited to share the joys and sorrows that are shaping our lives. And I'll turn the camera back to Chris.
Thank you, Marika. A stone for all of those who can't be here today, and a stone for all of the joys and sorrows that we still keep in our hearts. The last time we meditated together a couple of weeks ago, I gave you the outline of a baseline meditation, a very simple meditation practice which is universal to all common forms of meditation. And it's simple enough that you can practice with it and explore it and expand it, and you can keep it with you wherever you go, whatever you're doing, whether you're waiting for somebody or having a cup of coffee. This is something that you can practice wherever you are. For those of you who may remember that when we practiced together, there were basically 4 steps or stages. And we're going to go through those again so that you can keep this baseline meditation practice with you. So we had 4 stages. We had posture, we had presence, we had what, and we had who. So you can think of it as being 4 words. If you can remember those 4 words, you'll be able to remember the meditation. The first 2 start with a P, posture and presence. The last 2 words start with a W, what and who. Posture, presence, what, who. So posture, the important thing about posture is how you align your head and your back. Neurologists regard the brain and the spine as being one organ. They don't see the brain as being different from the spinal cord. The spinal cord is an extension of your brain. It doesn't matter if you sit in a chair. It doesn't matter if you sit on the floor. You usually see Eastern meditation teachers sitting on the floor because that's the culture they come from. Western culture, we sit in chairs. The important thing, if you're sitting in a chair right now and you would like to practice this, is that you should be able to move your back away from the back of the chair so that you're not depending on the back of the chair to support your back. You want to align your back in a way that is restful and alert. The state of mind that you're trying to reach out to is a state of mind that is restful and alert. And you begin with your body. If you're sitting in a chair, your sitting bones are the bottom of your pelvic bones that you feel when you touch your butt. So you want to move forward to the edge of your chair until your sitting bones are basically close to the edge of your chair, and you can feel the bones at the bottom of your pelvis and your butt kind of a little bit behind the edge of your chair. When you've got your sitting bones near the edge of your chair, lean forward, like if you're about to dive. Stick your belly out. For some of us, kind of sticks out anyway. So you stick your belly out until it's kind of bow shaped. You think of your back and your belly and the whole front of you as being like a bow that you're putting a string on. Imagine the image of putting a string on a bow, and it bends it out. And your sitting bones are near the edge of the chair and you're bent out. Then you start to bring your back. And now you're going to unstring your bow and let your back settle and straighten very gently until you can feel a natural, restful straightness in this position of your spine. You think of your spine as being a stack of tuna fish cans, and you're making a little tower of tuna fish cans, and you're making it straight so that the cans all balance on top of each other and the weight is distributed evenly straight down. So you straighten out your back until it feels kind of straight, kind of restfully straight. You balance your head so that it's resting gently and naturally between your shoulders. Not too far forward, it's not too far back. It's balanced so that your back and your head are lined up straight without any additional muscular effort on your part. That's posture. That's universal to most forms of meditation, whether you're sitting on the floor or sitting in a chair. So your sitting bones, your tuna fish cans are straight, your head is balanced, posture, presence. One way you can establish presence, being here now. And you can say the words to yourself, be here now. One way is to hold your hand in front of your face. Without concentrating on your hand, look at your hand. Just look at your hand. Pay attention to your hand. If that's difficult, you can say the words out loud, pay attention. Whenever you're trying to do something and you need to bring your mind to it, you can whisper the words out loud, pay attention, pay attention. Tell yourself what you're doing and where you are right now. I am Chris Garcia. I am in the sanctuary of the church. I am looking at my hand. Pay attention, pay attention. Posture and your presence, pay attention. As you close your eyes if it helps, and let your thoughts relax, let them settle. Don't try to silence your mind because you won't be able to do that anyway. Just relax your mind, relax your attention. As you feel your attention relax a little bit, take a step back, away from your own thinking, and see the parade of thoughts and feelings going by without attaching yourself to them. Just observe them like the way you were looking at your hand. Now, instead of looking at your hand, you're looking at your thoughts. And you're observing the parade of thoughts and feelings and even bodily sensations as they keep coming at you. If you can do that often enough, you'll come to the realization that you are not your thoughts. That is a startling revelation when you really feel it. Thinking is something that you do. It's not who you are. And once you begin to understand that and feel it and recognize that, then the next question is who? I'm not those thoughts going by. Who is this person? Who is this awareness that is experiencing all these things? And that question, the last one, who is this experiencer, is where the meditation journey begins. So practice that together for 1 minute. I'll mind the time and we'll meditate together. Begin. Thank you. Our reading this morning will be by David Johnson. David?
Hello, I'm David Johnson. The reading I have today is from Mary McLeod Bethune. If we accept and acquiesce in the face of discrimination, we accept the responsibility ourselves and allow those responsible to salve their conscience by believing that they have our acceptance and concurrence. We should, therefore, protest openly everything that smacks of discrimination or slander.
Thank you, David. This morning when I was listening to the radio, there was a lady from Nassau, a Spanish lady. She said something, I think it must have been a line of poetry, and it really caught my attention. It's a wonderful line. It said, they tried to bury us, but they didn't know that we were seeds. Seeds. 2020 was a hard year for us, and there's a feeling still a lot of us have right now as if events have tried to bury us and we haven't had a chance to be together as a family, a spiritual family, to look after each other and just to air out our hearts. One of the hardest things to learn, especially men have a hard time learning this, is just to not give advice, but just let somebody air out their hearts. And we haven't had much chance to do that when we're alone. They tried to bury us, but they didn't know that we were seeds. Seeds are for the future. Seeds are how nature and evolution have always invested themselves in the future. Are you a seed? Are you investing in your future? Are you the seed of who and what the spiritual community will be in a few weeks or a few months? Our new president said it would be by the end of the summer. We hope so. We may feel buried, but being a seed for the future is something that we get to choose. You've had a good deal here. We've had faith that that deal will come again. This is your chance to be a seed and invest in that future. And we hope that you can do that today. Stephen?
Thank you, David. It was Blanche in Tennessee Williams' play, Streetcar Named Desire, who said she lived in the kindness of strangers. Let's flip that around. How do we treat those who are not strangers? How do we treat family members, co-workers, members in our congregation, the people we meet and greet each day? We have all experienced domestic scenes where tempers flare, work venues where nerves are frayed, situations in which we say and do things we come to regret. We've all been there and done that. We've all experienced the unraveling of human civility in our society, the crudeness of language, our growing impatience with others, and people, sometimes ourselves, get hurt. There's a breakdown in human relations. Often it seems we are more criticized than praised, more taken to task than to lunch, more scolded than celebrated, more knocked about than boosted up. What is more, I'm guilty of these very sins. There is the new churchgoer who has the audacity to criticize the sermon. I dismiss her or him as a curmudgeon. I fail to see what is behind the criticism.
And more important, I do not really know who is behind it because I haven't made the effort to know them better. There is every woman and every man whom I judge without compassion, criticize without knowledge, condemn without pity. It's as if I walk by the person who lies hurt and bleeding on the road from Jerusalem to Jericho, fashioning my own rationale for not helping. It seems to me that whatever our theology, the very heart of religion is about the way we treat one another. Justice, mercy, and love are spiritual values. Writer and newspaper publisher Harry Golden once asked his father, "If you don't believe in God, why do you go to the synagogue so regularly?" His father answered, "Jews go to the synagogue for all sorts of reasons. My friend Garfunkel, who is Orthodox, goes to talk to God. I go to talk to Garfunkel. And whether we talk to God or not, we do talk with each other." As a Unitarian Universalist, I think I understand my tendencies to judgmentalism. It's a theological issue. No matter how much we protest, the fact remains that we have inherited our liberal religion from the Puritan tradition of the 16th and 17th centuries. That tradition worried not only that someone somewhere was having a good time, but also worried about human perfection. The Puritans were judgmental people. Morality was strict, everyone was accountable, standards were godly. In the intervening years, we have changed the theological language. We don't talk much about piety. We're a bit more relaxed about human behavior, and we don't claim our standards were directly dictated by God. However, that same inner urge to perfectionism is with us still. We tend to want things just so. We have a hard time abiding the messiness of life, and messy it is. There's a parable of a man who fell into a pit and couldn't get himself out. A subjective person came along and said, "I feel for you down there." An objective person came along and said, "It's logical that someone would fall down there." A Pharisee said, "Only bad people fall into a pit." A mathematician calculated how he fell into the pit. A newspaper reporter wanted an exclusive story on his pit. A fundamentalist said, "You deserve your pit." A self-pitying person said, "You haven't seen anything until you've seen my pit." A charismatic said, "Just confess that you're not in a pit." An optimist said, "Things could be worse." A pessimist said, "Things will get worse." And then, depending on your religious persuasion, Moses, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Albert Schweitzer, Martin Luther King Jr., or Susan B. Anthony, seeing the man in the pit, took him by the hand and lifted him out of the pit. We have overactive minds, which from time to time do not let the heart have its say. We are, by and large, successful people in the world. We work and we work hard. We are driven by our task mentality. After all, our theology is not salvation by faith in the next world, but salvation by works in this one. We are impatient to complete those tasks. We are impatient with those who interfere with them. I could be wrong, but I suspect many of us complain and scold far more than we cheer and praise. Somehow the cool rationalism of Unitarianism, valuable a religious tool as it is, controls the warm heart of Universalism, as necessary a possession as it is. And universalism, as you know, was built upon the theology of universal salvation. Ultimately, all will be forgiven, no matter what our sins happen to be. This is a soft side to universalism in contrast to the hard edge of Unitarianism. Now, I'm not advocating a wholesale retreat from critical reason, accepting all people uncritically, forgiving all sins, but I am advocating a much more nuanced approach to other people. I think we tend to see things as too black and white. I don't mean racially. I mean, we tend to judge people in stereotypical ways. We are in danger of falling prey to self-fulfilling prophecy. When we expect people to be unpleasant, we treat them that way, and they tend to respond in kind. So we were right. They are unpleasant. As in studies of school children, teachers' expectations were a major factor in their achievement. Higher expectations meant higher achievements. Lower expectations brought lower achievement. We all know people we tend not to like. What I've discovered, however, is that if we allow ourselves to get to know them, or at least I've discovered if I allow myself to get to know them at a deeper level, there is always, and I mean always, something to like and to admire. It has been said that judging people is like reading a book. Only if people are books, they're mysteries. We are all multi-layered, psychologically tangled, emotionally intricate beings. Everyone is having a hard time. Give people a break. It's not easy doing a life. Years ago, the American psychologist Gordon Allport suggested 6 criteria that mark the mature religious sentiment, as he called it. His first criterion is what I have in mind here. The mature religious sentiment is well differentiated. That is, it is not given to absolutes, but is open to ambiguity. It can tolerate the messiness of life, the complexity of human beings. This much more nuanced approach enables me to see beneath the surface of another person. Human beings are very complex creatures, and we judge them uncritically at our peril. That capacity to see with discerning eyes is caught up in a simple poem. I have shelved my youthful absolutes along with all my passionate lovers. Now I live with kindly relatives, some more beautiful than others. The way we treat others has implications, not only in our human relations in the wider society, but also in the context of a church community, where we ought, one would think, be on our best behavior. Listen to this and see if you see yourself. A minister saw an unwillingness on the part of newcomers and old-timers to greet each other at church. The Reverend decided to do something about it. She announced that beginning the next Sunday, there would be a time in the service for everyone to turn to those seated near them and greet them with a friendly hello. After the service, one member of the congregation turned to the person in the next row and said cheerfully, "Good morning." The others stared back in shock and snapped, "That doesn't start until next Sunday." Well, it doesn't start next Sunday. It starts every Sunday. The rule is a simple one. Always be a little kinder than necessary. After all, to quote Tony Larson, "You have entered this temple, have entered holy ground. It is not holy because of stained glass or ancient stone. It is holy because you are here." David?
Thank you, Reverend Don, for those good words. Our closing hymn is hymn number 1053, How Could Anyone Ever Tell You? And we are led by Amanda Main.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Our closing words are from Beverly and David Bumbaugh. Our church exists to proclaim the gospel that each human being is infinitely precious, that the meaning of our lives lies hidden in our interactions with each other. We wish to be a church where we encounter each other with wonder, appreciation, and expectation, where we call out of each other strengths, wisdom, and compassion that we never knew we had. David?
Spirit of love, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the streams of compassion, blowing the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the air, giving life a shape of justice. Roots on echoes, wings of setting free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Hi, everybody. Our closing, our postlude is by Franz Joseph Haydn today, but I forgot to mention that our Black History composer for this week was Moses Hogan, and you heard his arrangement of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands at the Offertory. He's a wonderful choral arranger and singer and leads a choir, and unfortunately he passed away a few years ago, but I was lucky to see him in person at a concert. And now our postlude.